Hi everyone, Lindsay Prather here, speaking to you from beautiful Buncombe County. Happy 2026. Just wanted to check in and give you an update of kind of what's happening or isn't happening at the North Carolina General Assembly right now. So as most of y'all know, North Carolina is the last state in the entire country that has not passed a budget in 2025. It is not unusual for the state budget in North Carolina to be late. It is unusual for it to be this late. And it does have an actual impact, despite what some Republican legislators or Twitter trolls will try to tell you. Of course, in North Carolina, our government does not shut down because we aren't able to pass a budget. Instead, what that means is that our state operates on the funding levels of the previous budget. And so the last budget that was passed in North Carolina was October of 2023. So we are now here in January of 2026 under, by the way, a completely different legislature than the one that was elected and that passed the budget in 2023. But we are sitting here and we are telling our state agencies and departments that y'all have to just continue operating under the same amount of money that we gave you over 2 years ago. Costs have gone up. Inflation has risen. We're having trouble staffing positions in these departments. So, you know, when you're worried about being able to get your driver's license at the DMV, or it seems like it's taking a really long time to get a response back, you've got an issue with a nursing home or a healthcare provider, right? Whatever it is, whoever it is that you're interacting with at the state, they are probably overworked right now, and they're probably working in a department that has a lot of empty positions. And so that's causing a lot of issues, obviously. Operating under the previous levels in 2023, that also means that state employees have not gotten any raises. Our teachers have not gotten any raises. Keep in mind, again, inflation has gone up, your salary has stayed the same, and state employee health plan premiums have gone up as well. And so effectively, our state employees are currently working under a pay cut. It's unconscionable. This also means that any organizations across the state that receive grants from the state, if those grants aren't recurring, if they weren't written into law that they get this amount of money every time a budget is passed, that means they have to go down to Raleigh every 2 years and beg for more funding. It also means that when we are in a place right now where we're operating under a previous budget, anything that wasn't labeled as recurring, that's not getting funded. So if your local nonprofit, if your local food bank got a state grant in the previous budget that was listed as non-recurring, they didn't get that grant this year. And oftentimes these organizations are dependent on that budget, right? This is how they plan for how they're going to provide services. And so the impact on our state is absolutely real. It is incredibly frustrating that people are trying to claim that this somehow is not the fault of the Republicans. It absolutely is the fault of the Republicans. This entire budget fight comes down to the fact that the Republican leaders in the Senate, led by Phil Berger, and the Republican leaders in the House, led by Destin Hall, cannot agree on how quickly to bring down the state income tax rate. That's it. That's the whole issue. It's Republicans versus Republicans. Democrats in the House, even many of us, including myself, voted for the House version of the budget, the Republicans' House version of the budget, because it was at least slightly better than the Senate version. So we even stepped out to try to be bipartisan, to try to support a budget that we didn't really like, but at least was the better version. And the House still wasn't able to push that through to get the Republican Senate to agree to it. It's incredibly frustrating. It is frustrating, especially as somebody who has family members that are teachers. We are probably not going to address the budget in the General Assembly until after March. And that's because March is when the primary happens. And the House at this point is just hoping that Phil Berger loses his primary, and then they have the leverage in the budget negotiations. And so I don't anticipate any movement on the budget in the next couple months. In fact, I would be very surprised if the legislature gets called down to Raleigh at all in the next couple months. Typically, the short session does not start until late spring, early summer. But when you don't have a budget, you would expect that people would be down in Raleigh working and trying to get that done. And that's just not happening. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk soon.